Welcome to our series on cooking for. I'm Mindy Turner with the Curry County Cooperative Extension Service, your family and consumer science agent. We are kicking off a brand new series. We are talking a little bit about some of the challenges we can face with cooking. Obviously, the size of the group, who we're cooking for, what we're cooking for, when we need it, all of those things can contribute to having to choose the appropriate recipes and make sure we have the things on hand that we need to make that happen. So for this series, we're going to look at some very specific cooking situations. So to start off with, I want to talk a little bit about cooking for one or two people. This can be one of those things most of us really just don't want to waste food. There's a lot of expense with that. We understand that there are people out there who aren't getting enough food, so we don't want to be the ones to waste what we have. But when there's only one or two of us in a household, particularly when maybe we are in a position of transition within our life and we've had a family to cook for, we've had multiple people to cook for, but now kids have gone off to college, or we've lost a spouse, or we've separated from a group in some way. So we're kind of on our own. Partly it can be very difficult because we cannot not always feel like eating. It doesn't seem like a lot of fun to cook and to make a nutritious meal. So then we end up either eating things that aren't good for us at all or just skipping meals. So when we talk about cooking for one or two, there's a lot of those mental health pieces in there as well that we want to consider. So some of the things I want you to think about is you need to have a plan. If you're only cooking for one or two people, you need to really think about, when I go shopping, what am I going to get? And making sure that when I do that, I'm going to have time when I get home to piece those things out, because I may need to buy a bigger package of something because that's what's available. But then when I get home, I'm going to put it into smaller portions so that I can portion that out and stick some in the freezer so it doesn't go bad. One of the things I hear from people a lot is, well, it's just me, so I don't buy XYZ because it goes bad before I can use it. And that can be an issue with certain things. Maybe you have neighbors around you that are also cooking for a smaller number, and you can split it. Hey, I'm going to give you half this head of lettuce because it's going to be gone. It's not going to be worth eating by the time I get through it. So just thinking through some of those things, making that plan, making those connections can go a long way toward making you feel better about what you're eating and what you have available. So having that plan, when you go into the grocery store, set your list kind of on how the store is laid out. I know that can be a challenge. Every time I go to the store, it's laid out a little different. Things get moved around. But to the best of your ability, that's going to save you time and keep you focused. Okay, it's very hard when you go to the store because I end up with a whole lot of stuff that's not on my list, because I ended up in a section that maybe I didn't even really need to be in. So having that list, making that plan, and when you look at your list, most of the stores are going to be organized in a way that kind of fits within our food groups as well. So we talk about eating nutritious, and we need a variety of foods, and we need to be encompassing all of those food groups. Having our list and thinking about what fits into each of those is going to be a great way to get us set for success when we get back home to actually prepare our food. The other thing I want you to think about, we talk about leftovers, and I know those people who we don't eat leftovers, we don't do that. We're going to talk about planned overs. We have a plan for what we're going to do with this leftover food. There are some things that when you try to cook smaller, it just doesn't work. So maybe you have a ham or a roast or something that you really enjoy that you want to cook. Go ahead and cook it, but have a plan for how we're going to use that. Maybe now we're going to turn that roast into stew for another couple of nights. Maybe we're going to take that ham and we're going to make ham salad or ham sandwiches. So having a plan for what we're going to do with those items can go a long way toward making that cooking for one or two a successful thing. Okay, so it also helps to make it fun. Go ahead and pull out some dishes and set your place at the table. Pull out that favorite placemat or that centerpiece that you love and have your spot where you're going to sit to eat and enjoy that meal, enjoy that food, and have that quality food time that we focus on when we have family and other people around, but when we're by ourselves, a lot of times we don't. And again, it becomes very simple to just say, oh, I'm just gonna eat this bag of chips, okay, and not really take the time to have a decent meal. So one of the things you can do, you can still have your favorite things, your favorite recipes, all of that stuff. So this chart, and it is available in our newsletter this time, really talks about how do you make that recipe fit what you need to make it fit. Because maybe now, instead of making an entire something, I only want to make about a third of that. And so I'm trying to get that close enough where you guys can hit pause and get the information that you need off the chart. And I'll give you a few tips. So like it talks about if the recipe calls for a 1/4 cup, then 1 tablespoon plus 1 teaspoon is a third of that. If you want to make half a recipe and it calls for a 1/4 cup, 2 tablespoons is what's going to replace that. So if you can still break down some of your favorite recipes or something that you've seen that just makes a huge amount and make it smaller, because sometimes even with those big, large things, we don't want to eat it day after day after day. So we're going to think about how can we put some of that in the freezer or make more individual servings. Containers like these that are more of an individual serving size are great to be able to put away. You'd be able to put that lid on it. You want to think about too, just this by itself with sealed with the lid's probably not going to be enough to last in the freezer. So go ahead, wrap it up with your cling wrap and then even some foil around it, depending on how long you intend to keep that item in your freezer so that it's going to stay of a good quality for you to come back and enjoy it later. And so then maybe it's a couple weeks later and you're like, oh, that was really good. You can pull that out of the freezer and heat it up and you have a meal already ready to go. So one of the very simple things that I wanted to share with you today for our recipe that you can do are little individual pizzas. And you can choose so many different options. You tailor this to you. And you could have a different one, a different kind every day, and it's gonna just kind of change things up for you. You pick your toppings, you pick your base. So of course there's our grain. We talk about trying to get in all of our different food groups. There's our grain for our base. You can choose whole wheat items, gluten-free items, whatever you need that to look like and whatever you have on hand. Maybe today what I have in the cabinet is some tortillas and I'm gonna pull those out and we're gonna make a mini pizza. What I have on my plate right now is some English muffins that I've just split open to make the top. Then I purchased, there were 6 in this package of these large rolls. Okay, you can also do French bread if you like that. Of these large rolls, there's 6 in a package. I'm probably not gonna eat 6, just me by myself, although I am a bread lover, but I could very easily put a couple in a freezer bag or even 1 in each freezer bag, freeze these to have on hand for later before they go bad, before they mold, all of that good stuff that can happen to bread. Okay, but so that's something that looked good to me and I thought, well, I would really enjoy that. That's part of what we want to think about, and also then how we can put it away, how we can save it and have it be the right portion size. And I've just split that in half. And you can see I have one really thick side, one really thin side, kind of to your preference, what you want. Mostly it's because I can't cut it straight, but it's gonna be up to you how you wanna fix that. And so you can see, these are the ones I've already, I don't think this is really hot anymore, toasted in the oven. If you have a toaster oven, you can also put these in the air fryer if you wanted. So those kind of things that you can do to make your pizzas and make them simple. So this is just standard pizza sauce. You can buy sugar-free kind. If you're not a big fan of, if you already have spaghetti sauce in the cabinet, that's great. If you're not a big fan of marinara, you can choose other things to use. Italian dressing, you can make a barbecue pizza if that's what you want. You can make it with no sauce if you're one of those that prefers it not be all saucy. Or this is just ranch dressing, and that's what I've actually put on this one because that's something I like on a pizza. And again, you can purchase sugar-free, you can purchase light, you can make sure that you're getting the nutritional needs that you need by just having that small serving. I got a little more than I intended, but that small serving of sauce or dressing, because you're gonna have the control of that when you put it together. And then you select your toppings. So obviously a protein, we're gonna have cheese for protein, and then we can also have a meat for protein. So I have these little mini pepperonis, I have some diced ham. This would be a great use for some of those plantovers that we talked about, some type of a protein that you want to add. If it's ground beef, something you've cooked for another meal, that then you can add to your pizza. Okay, so obviously then we put all of our sauces on, and then we just choose what we want for our toppings and add those things. So let's see. I'm gonna put a little ham on this one, and maybe I just want a cheese one. That's okay. You have your sauce, you have your grade. We're gonna add the cheese. This is just part skim mozzarella that we're gonna put on the top. If you have cheddar or Colby Jack or whatever kind of cheese you like, that's perfectly fine. I did get mozzarella because it makes me feel like it's more pizza-y, okay, to have that. So you can put that straight on there, and that's what we're gonna, of course, toast it all up, get all melty. It's gonna hold our pizza all together. You don't have to have cheese if you don't want cheese. The beauty of this is making it personal to you, something that you enjoy, but still feeling like you have that comfort food of having pizza without having to order and buy a pizza that now you're gonna have to eat every day for the next week. So planning and thinking about what can we do, cooking for one or two. Okay, I've also got the pineapple because I do like that on a pizza. This is just some chopped up green pepper, things that you enjoy that you like. Maybe it's black olives, whatever you have on hand, check your cabinets, make yourself a personal pizza that's gonna cover your nutritional needs and, like I said, give you that comfort feeling of being able to eat your pizza. Consider when it's one or two, how you can make a plan for your shopping, how you can make a plan for your leftovers, your plantovers, sorry, how you can freeze and put things away and use them for later. It's gonna save you time, it's gonna save you money, and you're gonna feel better. I'm Mindy Turner with the Curry County Cooperative Extension Service. This has been Cooking for One or Two. Next time, we're gonna talk about what if you have a whole lot more than that to cook for. I will see you right back here.